Senator Bill Hagerty, Republican of Tennessee and a member of the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee, joins me now. Senator, great to have you with us. Your reaction to these tariff moves, how you think they're working so far, and what comes next?
Well, Martha, I think we got to put this all into context. If you think about the tariff situation worldwide, the United States has been treated unfairly for years. President Trump has constantly and consistently talked about reciprocity. This goes all the way back to World War II. We created very favorable terms of trade for nations in Europe, nations like Japan, whose economies had been devastated. We should have time limited. We should have put some sort of GDP per capita limit on that. Because right now, the United States has the lowest tariffs on a trade-weighted basis of any major economy. Other countries have been taking advantage of us. President Trump sees this, and access to our economy is a privilege, not a right. You saw what happened in Colombia. He knows how to use leverage. He knows how to essentially let them know that he's not going to tolerate bad behavior. And if countries like Colombia don't want to cooperate with us, they're not going to have access to our markets.
Yeah, I think it's a foreign policy 101 case that we watch with Colombia, how quickly the turnaround happens when there is a financial axe sort of held above your head. It's amazing what can happen very quickly. I want to ask you about the developments in pausing foreign aid that we heard about from the State Department and what that's going to look like, a reevaluation on a country-by-country basis. How much do we give you and why, and should we, right?
These are all very legitimate and reasonable questions to ask, Martha. There's a lot of pearl clutching going on in Washington right now. But I can tell you, back in 2016, 2017, the State Department acted as quickly as they could to shovel money out the door to NGOs, to the UN, to agencies that didn't have the U.S. interest, U.S. best interest at heart. I think it's entirely appropriate that Secretary Rubio put a pause on all of this. I sent a letter to every agency head in the United States government letting them know, line and verse, how they would violate U.S. law if they were to, quote, reprogram funds at the very end. We're going to get a report on all of that here in the next couple of weeks. So I think this is something that's entirely legitimate. It's something that should happen, and we need to make certain that taxpayer monies are being used for things that advance America's interest.
Yeah, it's a Doge philosophy really across the board on a case-by-case basis, an examination that I think is probably very much long overdue. Let me ask you about the very big hearings that are coming up for crucial members of that President Trump chose for his cabinet. You've got RFK Jr., Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard. We saw what happened with the Hegseth nomination. It got through. He was confirmed, of course, but Collins, Murkowski, and McConnell all voted against. And then you had Tillis sort of wavering at the end, which I think has raised a lot of questions about how the rest of these are going to go. What do you see?
Well, I actually feel very good about how the nominees are moving through the process. You think about Senator Thune, he's been extremely diligent in terms of setting up a process that will get our nominees confirmed as rapidly as possible. The Democrats have done everything they can to slow us down, but Senator Thune, our leader, has done a terrific job of making sure that we're moving at pace. I feel good about our nominees. Pete Hegseth certainly had everything, including the kitchen sink, thrown at him, and he navigated the process very well. And I think as people got to know him, got to hear from him, they got to realize they had a very smart individual there who is very capable. I expect the same from the other nominees, and that process continues apace here this week.
What would you say to those who might be on the fence about Tulsi Gabbard, for example?
Well, President Trump is entitled to his nominees. I think you've got a tremendous number of challenges that our nation is facing right now. President Trump opened a very large tent as he came into office, and he selected people that he think will help him achieve his goals, achieve the promises that he made to the American public. So I think on balance, Republicans should certainly defer to President Trump. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Obviously, you've seen people vote in different ways from me, but on the whole, I think people should give President Trump the benefit of the doubt.
Senator Hagerty, thank you. Always good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Martha.
Thanks a lot.
Likewise.